Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unboxed. Today's question: I feel my job is unethical. What should I do? Stick around as we unbox the answer to this very difficult question. I'm Dr. Robert Davis, family life educator and relationship coach, and welcome to Unboxed, a frank and straightforward conversation about relationships. We're going to talk about family, church, workplace, and all other types of relationships. Join me for the next few moments as we unbox the power and potential of relationships and help you to live your best life. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unboxed. I'm your host, Dr. Robert Davis. So glad that you're here with us. This is Manic Monday, when we begin to talk about workplace relationships. Do me a quick favor before we get started. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. Look into our description so you can find ways that you can partner with and support Unboxed and the work that we're doing in our community. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into this. Today's question comes from Marcus, and Marcus asks, I work as a customer serving a customer, blah, blah, blah. Let me read that. I'm all tongue twisted. Marcus asks, I work as a customer service agent in the financial industry, and I'm being asked to lead people to sign up for products I consider predatory because they target poorer, lower credit people. I can't afford to lose my job. What should I do? Wow, Marcus. First of all, I really do sympathize. This is not the time to be out there trying to look for a job. It can be very difficult. I'm not sure what part of the country you live in, but this can be very difficult for someone to walk away from a job, excuse me, whatever the circumstance may be. So I really do sympathize with you. But I do want to share this, Marcus. There are industries that are predatory, that the payday loan industries, certain credit card industries, I would even say almost all of them, but especially specific credit card companies actually target the most vulnerable in our community. I was a part of an initiative several years ago, about 2 or 3 years ago, right here in Colorado, to rein in predatory payday loans, and it's successful. It went to a ballot measure, and it passed. And so now there's a cap on the type of interest rates that these predatory lenders can do. And what happens is large banks like Chase and Wells Fargo and others, Bank of America and others, they have their, premier banks, and then they have these, payday loans places that they have set up that specifically move into poor minority communities and prey on these people. And so it is very difficult. I've often asked myself, and I'm going to get right to your question next. I often asked myself back during the housing crisis of 2008, I'm old enough to remember that, the housing crisis of 2008, I always asked myself, how did these people feel comfortable signing people's mortgages, knowing that they were going to have people's homes foreclosed, knowing that they were going to be kicked out into the streets? How do you do that, knowing that you yourself are making just barely enough to get by, and you're allowing your supervisors, your executives to convince you to do immoral and unethical things? And so I'm really encouraged, Marcus, by the fact that you even have that internal guidance that says, something about this just isn't right, and something isn't right. And I'm going to share something with you that's very easy for me to do because I'm sitting here behind this microphone and in front of this camera, that is going to be difficult for you to do in your real life. And that is, I'm going to really encourage you to stand for what you believe to be principle. Stand for what you believe to be principle. Dr. Martin Luther King said, if a man does not have something that he's willing to die for, then he is unfit to live. And so I want to kind of go back, and I chose this question particularly today because it ties into some of the other things that we've been addressing. I want to go back and just show you what guiding principles are. And we're going to put that slide up right now. What are guiding principles? Guiding principle is very simple. One's internal clarity regarding his or her path forward in response to any given context or situation. Let's make that slide a little bit larger, Bob, if you will, please. Let's do that. One's internal clarity regarding his or her own path forward in response to any given context or situation. This right here is guiding principle. And all of us need to operate off of a set of guiding principles. And I'm keeping this slide up because I really want you to see it. All of us have to operate off of a set of guiding principles that say, you know what, no matter what the consequences may be, I can't do this. And if, Marcus, it is that I cannot sign people up for these predatory loans, these predatory credit cards, these predatory, financial packages, then you have to be willing to stand for that. If your guiding principle is that you do not take advantage of people, or if your guiding principle is that you do not abuse people or manipulate their vulnerability, then you have to live that out regardless of the case or the situation. Some of the people who have done horrific things in the group have, if you talk to them one-on-one, they would never do it. Individuals who have committed murder, in lynch mobs, individuals who have, been involved in gang rapes, one-on-one, they wouldn't do these things. But because they lack that internal clarity and that internal guiding principle, when they get into these larger groups, the herd mentality takes effect and they end up doing stuff that they would never have normally or naturally done. And what I want to share with you is don't get caught up into the herd effect. If this is something that is bothering you, then you need to follow through with it. I can't remember if it was Martin Luther or Zwingli or who it was, but it was one of the reformers in Europe that made this statement. It is a dangerous thing for a man to go against his conscience. And part of guiding principles is being true to our conscience. And so I want to encourage you, Marcus, to be true to your conscience. I don't have a whole lot of step-by-step for you today. I just simply want to say to you, be true to your conscience. And not just you, there are others of you who are in jobs. And I also want to encourage you, Marcus, there's a video, and I'm going to put the link onto this Facebook post. So come back in just a few minutes, and I'll personally put it in the description section. There's a thing called moral injury. And I really want you to watch this video. It talks about how doctors and nurses are having to make a lot of these ethical decisions and how it's taking an impact on their mental health. And I want you to begin to think through what you believe and how you want to live that out in everyday parts of your life and in every relationship. And I wish you the most success. Like I said, I know it's easy. I don't want to downplay it. It's easy for me to sit behind this microphone in front of this camera and tell you, oh yeah, walk away from your job, stand for right. It's another thing when you have children to feed, bills to pay, and the others who are dependent on you. But what I can say is I want you to gain clarity about what you genuinely believe. And I want you to operate by those principles and to follow the dictates of your conscience. Marcus, I'm going to be praying for you, and I hope that everything turns out well. Those of you who are watching, if you have any questions that you would like for us to address here on Unboxed, I want to encourage you to email us. Our email address is here on the screen, or you can direct message us through Facebook, or even visit our website and communicate with us there. So glad that you chose to join us, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night as we continue to unbox the power and potential of our relationships. Have a good night.
Seasoned with Grace, Unboxed also provides healthy relationship training and leadership development for businesses, churches, and community organizations. For a free consultation to discuss your team's needs, please contact us at our website at swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org.